Oh my goodness, chat. It's been a very, very long time. Let me know if the music's way too loud right now, because I did not, like, check if it was going to be like that. It's new music and stuff. So anyway, we're here. I don't know what I'm doing with my arms right now, but I'm doing something. I'm doing something, okay? You know who else is doing something? Yiheng Wang, ladies and gentlemen. It was bound to happen. Let's be real here. Okay, it was bound to happen. But I didn't think he would get it done again this year. I didn't think so. I thought it would take until at least 2025 until we'd see an improvement, but because his first 409 was like pretty lucky, but second one didn't seem to be. I mean, of course, soon PLL skip type stuff, so who knows? But what's up, Pizza Cuber? What's up, RG Cubing? Javi Superliga. That's a great name. I don't know where that comes from or whatever, but anyway, chat, we got some stuff going on today. I have 5 cubes here. I'm not going to break down the entirety of the solves, but I'm just going to do the key moments that I thought were important from a bunch of them, and why this average was so cracked. Speaking of which, like, first round, Yiheng Wang 421 average. Okay, second round, 466, and final, 405. So I just don't know. That was probably the greatest single competition performance ever in 3x3, just numbers-wise. Of course, like, you know, situational, but numbers-wise, I'd say it definitely is. When do I think sub 4 will happen? I'd say, I mean, I'm tempted to just say January, February, honestly. It has to happen at some point. What's up, Giovanni? But yeah, we're gonna get right into that, honestly. I can't wait. I can't wait to look at these solves, dude. I have, but, you know, I can't wait to look at them again, because they're just so good. They're just so good. Anyway. I don't know. Let's look at some solves, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do this. So, right here, I'm just gonna... Should I? I don't know. Here. I think I'm just gonna start by playing the average a little bit, and then we'll see where we go in terms of the breakdown of stuff and whatnot. So this one, he went for white, and he did, like, it was 2 free pairs into, you'll see when I show you, but yeah, 2 free pairs into a last layer that is honestly, like, we'll just do it from this position. Okay, we'll do it from here. Okay, you see, chat, that's what happens when you don't paste your mic into the scene you're doing in OBS. So hopefully you guys can hear me now. Spam 1 if you can hear me, please. I do not like that. Hello, hello. Okay, cool. Nice. So, yeah. Okay. It should work. Does this whole scene work? Like, do I have the split screen going on now? Whatever. Okay, you guys can hear me. It doesn't matter. Okay. Anyway, thank you for the ones. It's a lot of ones. Appreciate 6. Okay, 6. What does that mean? What does that mean, Marine Edgar? What does it mean? Okay, back to the solve. So he does white. This is the first scramble. Well, a little bit of it. He wishes this was the first scramble. It's not. Okay, it's half solved because. So what he does here is he basically sets up 2 free pairs into the back, and I think he probably saw both of them in inspection. Of course, it's difficult to really tell 100% on these type of things. But So yeah, so there's the cross. He ends up pairing up the red, blue, putting it in. And then this is green, orange. Okay, now from this position, I want to kind of show you his last two slots into the last layer. So he goes for blue, red first. And this is just simply this case right here. So it's just double sexy. And then he has these two right here. And it's interesting because some people like would just say, okay, do the righty moves. And a lot of the time in this average, Yiheng basically chooses to do lefty moves more than righty moves to insert the last pair. And I think that's just I think it's just like a regrip type of thing. Like he doesn't really like to, I guess, regrip twice to insert the pair. So maybe that's something you want to think about in your solves. I don't know. Yeah. The scram is on rico.nz if you want to go look it up. Anyway, so this is the fourth pair, right? So it's just a basic insert. And then he goes into this. And this is super interesting because from this position on this TOLL case, if I can even, that'll make it easier. So he inserts both of these pairs, right? And then he goes into this TOLL case. And basically, with the whole like meta changing into ZB, you would think, okay, well, next step is obviously one look last layer, which we know that it's not because it's one look last layer. And if you've seen the cases and you've tried to learn the cases, you know it's not one look last layer. I did a little bit of that last night. I was doing like OLO 55 and I was just like trying to learn one look last layers. And I was like, dude. And that's like the easiest OLO to do that for, besides ZBLO. But what I'm trying to say here is that a lot of the times in this average, Yiheng's last layer is so completely pauseless, and every single last layer is sub 2, to the point where it wouldn't even matter if you tried to learn one look last layer. Because you'd be spending, even if you spent like half a second sometimes recognizing it, your case is still going to take you 1.5 seconds because of how terrible the algs are, right? So yeah, he is very good lefty, that is true. ECA, that's true. General, his lefty moves are pretty good, but it's just how he inserts the pairs in some of these cases. But this one is basically, so you see this is going to come to the front. You'll know you have a bar right there, but then it's just deducing which case it is. And in this case, it's, you know it's going to be a U-perm because this goes over here, this goes to the back. I'm not sure if he saw all of this. It's probably just intuition, honestly. But he does the TOLO, and then, okay, I thought you were saying that. So he does the TOLO from right here. And then he just goes immediately into this. And this is like a 1.2 last layer, I think. So, yeah. He locks up like a tiny bit on that, I guess. But, yeah. Just watching this at full speed, it doesn't look real. It looks like a one look last layer case. Because he's solving it so fast. Like, watch this. Yeah. It's so fluid. That's why it's a 3. Like, pretty good F12 for him. I don't know how standard that is, but I'd say it's a pretty decent F12. He did have 2 free pairs at the beginning, both into the back, which is pretty optimal. And then we get to solve 2. And solve 2 is once again done on white, and he does this X cross, which he solves into the back left. And what you're going to see here is that I do think that he planned the second pair in inspection because of the move order that he chooses. I think it's quite obvious that he does that. Can we stop spamming in chat, please? Chat? I don't know. I'm not going to delete your messages unless unless you do something crazy. I don't know. Don't take any ideas by that. But basically what this is an X cross. So he's going to start off the X cross. Let's go into 0.25 so I can do this. And then, so you'll see these are the last 2 moves of the X cross, right? Or 3. So he's going to insert this block. And now you have this block which you can do a D2 on. But why I think that he already knew what was going on, because if you see there, he actually does the U prime before he does a D2, and it's like, why would he do that, right? That doesn't really make much sense. But he does the U prime, and then he does a D2 so that he can pair these 2 up, which I can only imagine that he would have had to plan those 2 as his first 2 pairs in inspection, this X cross into these 2, because if he actually saw these 2, this is a very difficult thing to do. To be able to see that this is the second best pair, or it's the best pair from this situation. And then, because whenever you pair these 2 up, right, or however he did it, you get a 3-mover right here whenever you insert it. So now this is a 3-mover. And another thing he does that I haven't ever seen him use in solves, I think this is a new thing, because usually Yiheng tends to rotate and then insert, even in this type of situation. But what you'll see a lot of top cubers do, I think Felix was the first one to actually do this in a competitive, or not in a competitive solve. I don't know what I'm trying to say. He was the first one to do this and like make it big, okay? This is the fat F insert, so you have these two, and you can basically, to solve these two into the back right, you can go like this. And that's what he does here. And it's really cool to see him implementing these kind of F12 tricks, because it's usually, like, don't get me wrong, his F12 is insane, and it's very, very complex a lot of times. But his inserts are typically usually, pretty standard. And then he ends up going into these two, which is just like this. And then he gets to last layer, which I'll play a little bit of it for you. So, yeah, that's the fat F insert right there. You see it. Yeah, it's crazy that he's doing that. I didn't ever realize he would do that. But it is, it's better. It's just better to do. And then he goes into that pair, right? 3 mover. And now we get to this WOL case. And the WOL case is, he does lefty moves for it. I think Yiheng and me as well, because I'm Yiheng. I'm like just as fast, right? So use an alg that's like basically just like a J perm and some extra moves. So it's pretty long. But he actually does lefty moves here for this. And then after doing this, right, he gets to an N perm. And he gets to N perm at, it says 3 flat. I'd say it's probably like 3-2 or something. And then it's like a sub 1 N perm. So, pretty perfect execution on the N perm. But getting a low 4 on an N perm is, many people have already said it before when talking about this average. It's pretty wild to even say that. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, okay. I don't know. The chat is the chat, okay? And things happen in the chat that can't really be spoken of outside of the chat, okay? First rule of Fight Club, don't talk about Fight Club. And we have stuff going on in the chat for sure. But N perm at low 3, right? And then he goes into this, and he gets a 4. And this is the beginning of what I think is really funny in this average, is he gets mad at himself a lot whenever he puts down the cube. And I don't think that this has anything to do with his actual execution of these solves, because they're pretty insane. Like, he's seeing everything. He's doing everything at like 13 plus TPS. I don't know what TPS this solve was. I think it was like 13.8 or something ridiculous like that. But he puts it down. He sees 425 and he's mad. Okay, he's mad because it doesn't say 3 on the timer. That is the only reason that he's mad about this, is because it's not a 3. All right, there's no like execution errors. When I first saw this, I was like, okay, where did he mess up? Like, why is he mad about this? I think he's just mad because he got an N perm and it's not a 3. Okay, it's a 3 with like basically any other PLO. Let's be real here, and we might be looking at a sub 4 average. Who knows? But we're not going to be seeing that until 2025, probably. Who knows what's going to happen there? But solve 3. So solve 3 is done on yellow, and I have it right here. I just have his decisions after the cross. So he makes a free pair while solving the cross. He preserves it, basically. And I'm not sure if he preserved it. I think he just made it in inspection. So he pretty quickly decides to go for yellow. And then, if I can just go here. Yeah. So his first pair is just the free pair. Okay. So he starts to solve off like that, yeah. And then he's going to go into this free pair. So, it's just RU prime, R prime insert. And then from here you have an interesting decision to make, because you can either solve both right slots or you can solve diagonal slots. And I think like both of these are obviously rotationless, but I think he goes for right slots for an interesting reason that he may or may not have seen during the solve. If he actually saw this, like, it's insanely impressive, and I don't know how this is even like something that people see in solves, but he is Yiheng. So that's the first pair. The second pair is this. So it's the orange-green right here. And he pairs them up like this, and then he inserts them into the back. But you can see whenever you pair these up, you actually get this. And what this means is you're basically solving this F2L case while inserting this. So it's just like that. So now you have these two, right? And it's just funny because, like, a lot of the things that happen in Yiheng solves are so efficient and they're just like, they happen to just work like magically, right? And then you ask yourself like, oh, is he just getting lucky? And I used to always ask myself that whenever I saw him. I saw the recons of his solves and stuff, and I saw him do solves. But honestly, at this point, like, I'm just gonna start taking everything as, yeah, he meant to do that. Whether or not he did, I don't know, but I genuinely do think that he did that on purpose. And then this, he couldn't have possibly done this on purpose. Okay, let's just be real here. This is a 3-mover, and then he gets a free pair out of that. That's just RNG. And then he does something interesting. So let's go to where he has the final pair. So that's third pair. Now he has the fourth pair right here. I was gonna point at the screen, but you can't see that. That's probably not luck. Yeah, I don't. That's probably not luck, dude. So he gets this final pair. And what he does is he actually rotates for it. So he actually has it right here, and then he rotates and does a U at the same time. And then he does a sledge from here. But I don't know why he didn't just do lefty hedge like this. Okay, my cube is terrible. Lefty hedge. Instead of just, like, he has it right here. It's pretty ergonomic to just go like this. I don't know why he didn't do that. Not to, like, be a Yiheng Wang critic, but this is just something that he should probably have done. But the sledge does preserve this block, which actually ends up being this ZBLO. And you'll see on these next two solves, Yiheng does get ZBLOs on both of them. And then it's a very interesting conversation from there of, like, what that even means for competitive cubing in terms of, like, how fast he's executing these. Because I looked at them and just, it really makes you question whether some ZBLLs are worth it, and especially considering that these last three solves, he's getting ZBLLs that, or like sets of ZBLL that are typically regarded as like fast and very worth it, even since, like, I don't know, when Felix was first doing them in like the early 2010s. So these have always been good ZBLLs. This one, it's pretty easy to recognize, and it's just F2, Y per F2. But instead what Yiheng does is he does the regular OL algorithm, and I think he knew it was going to preserve this block, because that's just how this OL works, and then he goes into the J-perm here. And this was a sub 1, or not sub 1, he wishes it was sub 1. It was sub 2 for last layer. So again, like, if you just watch this, it's so pauseless that it really makes you question, like, whether ZBLL is worth it sometimes. I think in that case, it would have been worth it for him to do that if he knew it and he was, like, Timon level, Schwani level at doing that. But, you know, it really makes you question, like, if we just watch this solve full speed, it makes you question how worth it some ZBLL is. I really do think that it would have been worth it for him to do ZBLL in that case. Because, you know, it was like a 1.8 last layer. I bet a lot of people can do that in, like, 1.7. Not a lot of people, but there are a few people in the world who can do that sub 2, I say. So, yeah, who knows? But these two are very interesting, and they really do speak to how worth it ZBL really is sometimes. And just the F2L is just cracked. Especially on this next one, which, it's another case of what we saw with the last solve, where, like, is it magic, or is it just Yiheng being extremely cracked at cubing? I don't know. Well, like, we'll try to figure it out here in a second. But this is another interesting thing that I thought I saw, which I saw it and I was like, I noticed something was off with his hand placement first. We're not talking about sliding right now, okay, guys? We're not, just don't get any ideas. I'm talking about his hand placement, right? And how he's putting his hands on the cube right now. So just look at this right now. He has his hands on the cube like this, or not on the cube, on the timer. If you notice anything, it's that how his right index finger is on the timer. I don't know if this is the reason, but if we go back right here, I don't know if I can get the exact frame, but like right when he starts this solve, this is the solve, okay. It's hard to go back in time on YouTube videos, you know. Yeah, so he gets to here. You see his finger is completely flat. I'm talking about this left index finger. It's completely flat. Whenever he goes into this solve 4, it's a little bit, okay, well now you just saw what it was. You didn't see what happened though. you didn't really see. You're listening, but you're not paying attention. You see, this is his index finger right here. It's kind of like it's bent a little bit, and I think I know exactly why that is, because he ends up going into this solution, which he does on white, and you can see that he does this push move with his left index, or why did I keep saying left? It's his right hand. It's his right hand. I don't know what's going on, chat. I'm sorry. Yeah, so he does that. He does that little push move right here that you can see. And it's interesting just like how his timer starts are, just in general, like apart from sliding entirely. It's interesting how that worked, and like that's even something that he would do just like subconsciously. I don't know if I'm reading into this way too much, but it was really interesting. So that's the X cross right here. Of course, you have green-red solved from the X cross, and now you have he's going to be solving diag slots with these two. So he ends up doing that just like this. So of course, just inserting the pair into the back right. And now he has another interesting decision where he's going to have to rotate once to solve two pairs. So there's not really... Yeah, I can go frame by frame. I'm sorry, chat. I should use period and comma. I'm sorry. Anyway, that's why chat's here, right? So you have these two, and you could just rotate and then solve these. Or you could do these two first. And I think Yiheng's tracking these two the whole time while he's solving this into the back. And he sees this, right? And he has a little bit of a pause here in the solve, but it's for a very reasonable reason, okay? It's that he knows instead of doing this, he should just solve these two. And the reason he should just solve these two is because whenever you do this solution, it ends up pairing these two up. That's another thing that's like, I don't know if this is just his general decision making, if that's like what he would always do in this situation, but it really does, again, it makes you think why he does some things that he does, and if they really do have the impact that we're thinking they do, in terms of like, that he just knows this. Because I think most people would have probably gone into these two first, because they're the back pair, and if you can solve it, even if it's in the right, like even if you can just solve the back pair for your third pair, and you have front left as your last, and you know this corner is going to be normally oriented, it's not going to be like flipped or anything like that. I don't know why, so he just wouldn't go into that. And instead he does this, and he knows that it solves this pair. I don't know how many people in the world would really see that, but it's something that, again, really makes you question what's happening, right? So yeah. I'll do that in a second. Not Makela. I don't know how to say that name. I'm sorry. I'll do that in a second. And then he just inserts it like that. I don't know if he does a U2 insert here, he gets a TZ BLL. Again, I don't know if he sees that or not, because he'd usually always just insert this with a U2. I don't know why, but I think he did like pre-plan to do that, and it wasn't just, oh, I see the pair, now let's do it, because it's like extremely pauseless in the solve. And then it's just left soon and A-perm. I don't do this kind of A-perm. I don't do the back A-perms, chat. I do lefty A-perms because Yiheng Wang told me to do lefty A-perms in 2018, and I've never stopped since then. So yeah, that's the diag slots right there, and then he does blue-red, and then he does... So you can see the transition from blue-red is like completely pauseless, which makes me think, okay, yeah, he knows this, right? He knows that that pair is going to be free. And then he does a soon, and then he does an A-perm. All right, so... yeah. That was an interesting sentence I just read in the chat. Sorry you guys had to read that. Again, he gets it, and he's mad. He's mad at himself because it's not a 3. Okay? He's not mad because he messed up or he did a mistake in the solve. It's not how his brain works. It's just, I don't see a 3. It's not a good time. Okay? I get 3s like every 5 solves at home. Okay? Because Yiheng averages 2 at home. We know that, right? So, you know, he's just mad at himself because it's not a 3. Okay? There were no problems with this solve, execution-wise or solution-wise. There was nothing he could have done better. Okay? And of course, this is me talking from a 9-second solver perspective. But at the same time, I looked at the solution a bunch, and I really don't think, considering how he started the solve, I don't think there's anything he could have done differently that would have led to better continuations or anything like that. Okay, so the final solve, he does this one on yellow, and this is an insane free fop solution, which basically means he does the first 3 cross edges, and he just doesn't do the last one until he inserts a pair or 2, right? In this case, it's 2 because it's Yiheng, right? So, I don't know why that just went black for a second. But, I'm sorry that this quality is bad right now for some reason. Here, let me try to up the quality, chat. Okay, yeah, that's good. So, okay, this camera work could be better considering exactly for my needs, okay? It could be better for exactly what I need. So they should really consider what I need when they make this, you know, the footage of Yiheng's official averages. Okay. So he's doing a bunch of D moves because he's solving the first 3 pieces of the cross. And then he goes into, it's interesting because you have a choice here. If you do insert this edge and you just finish the cross, you get a free pair. It is in the front right, but like it's a free pair. But what Yiheng does instead is he sees the first 2 in inspection, and he's going to go into this pair, which is the orange-green. And how he pairs it up is he just goes like this, and then he's just going to insert these 2, and he knows whenever he pairs it up like that, it also pairs up this red-blue. So that's why I did it, kind of a, you know, a Jody Brewster solution here. And then he goes into these 2, into the back, and then finally he just has this one, right? I'm sorry, he does it like this. So he has it from here, and I think he just knows this. I think he just knows that whenever he has this case, when you do so many solves, you just start to pick up on things like this, which editing your recon vid, oh sweet dude, yeah, you should get those recons out. You know, try to match my clickbait on the title and the thumbnail that I did. You know, it was the greatest thumbnail I've ever created in my life. Just sat in Photoshop and, you know, just cook, dude. That's what you do. Anyway, yeah, this is green-red right here. And he's basically just going to pair these up and then solve them in the back. I think he just knows which case this is. Again, like I was saying. As he's doing this, right? Which pair is he even on? Okay. So whenever he solves green-red, he's going to do a U2. And then he inserts this. And then he's going to have these 2, right? And then he solves these 2 into the back. And he knows that he's kind of going to have the same F2L case for his 4th pair. But he solves these 2 into the back, right? Just standard solution here. And then here I actually, when I first saw this, that he got this in the solve, I was like, oh, it's going to skip. But it doesn't skip. It actually just, it gives you edges because this is how this case works. But a very interesting thing right here. So he pairs it up, and then he rotates. And of course, like I was talking about, the left move, so he doesn't have to regrip. So he does it like this. And then he actually gets to a point here where he gets this ZBLO. This ZBLO. I don't know why I slurred my words like that. It was kind of odd. But he gets to this ZBLO. And it's interesting because this is typically a very good subset of ZBLO. And you have a bunch of good cases in here that, you know, it's a T case anyway, but this specific set of T cases is usually pretty decent. But what he does is, of course, he's Yiheng, so he just goes into this, which is just the OLL. And then I think he can predict PLL from here. I don't know exactly, like, it's completely pauseless in the solve. If you just watch it, this is another last layer that's like 1.2, I think. So he goes into this, right? And, like, the insert into the OLL is also just completely pauseless. Like, if you just see, it just looks like one motion. Like, he's just doing the U move. Or U prime move, and then he goes immediately into the A perm. It's like he just knows it's going to be an A perm, right? And I think he could predict PLL from here. Usually you'd predict from like this block and like these 2 being preserved. At least that's how I would do it. But he's able to see this block back here, which is interesting. Or maybe he just knows. Okay, yeah, he probably just knew he was going to get an A perm because of this right here, and this corner goes here, and yeah, A perm and. I think that's how you do that, Alk. I think so. I think. Yeah. But the ZBL he actually got in the solve. How do I do this alg? I don't know. What you need to know. Okay, I learned that set a little while ago and then I forgot that case. Because that case is so terrible that it's basically when you get... Okay, when you get here and you have this TOL, I'll basically just show you with a regular TOL because I don't know how to invert the case because I don't know the case. So basically, when you get here, right, and this isn't the exact case, but it's just imagine the colors are different. Okay, that's great. You basically, what you have to do is you see that there's nothing here on the case that he got. You see there's nothing here. You have to do a U2 to decide whether or not it's the case with headlights or if it's the case. So basically the back will look like this. You have to decide whether it's this case or whether it's just solved. And in this case, it was the opposite headlights. So what like any ZB solver would do, I don't know if Shwani would do this because, you know, two-sided whatever, but he, you know, you would just see that like he had the headlights case, which is what Yiheng had in the solve. And then he would basically have to do another U2 and then do the ZB. And the ZB is 19 moves. There is literally nobody in the entire world that can execute that ZBOL. And I don't know what this last layer was, but there's no one in the world that can ever possibly execute that last layer faster than Yiheng did. And Yiheng is pretty, like, he's pretty good at just doing, you know, TOLL into any PLL whatsoever, which is what he got twice in this average, I think. And it's like, use two-sided for this case? Okay, maybe more people know two-sided for that than I know. Yes, okay, Igor has the alg. I was looking at this alg earlier today and then I forgot it. I think you have to regrip at the beginning. Correct me if I'm wrong, ZB people, but I think you have to regrip like this. Yeah. And then it's... Yeah. R prime D, R, U2, yeah. Okay, it's like that. So this is the case I'm talking about. He got it from this position, I think. You would usually have to see that there's nothing here, and then do a U2, and then do another U2. I don't know how many people do two-sided for that. Yeah, I regrip. Okay, yeah. You can recognize it like an E-perm, but how do you know that, like, it's... How do you differentiate between this one? Okay, so this is a 19-move alg, right? I don't even know where the alg is anymore. I literally forgot the alg. Okay. Wow. Cheat sheet using it in the chat. Thank you. Appreciate you, Igor. Anyway, that's the alg for that. You either get that, or you get this one, I believe. Yeah, this. So, or you get this. And I think they look decently similar. Okay, you just use two corner columns for it? Okay. So there's obviously different cases. He did make the cube spin real fast at this moment. But he gets this, and then he doesn't get this case, but he gets the opposite headlights version of it. And then he basically, you know, he would do the alg, or he wouldn't do the alg, he'd do the OL alg. But yeah, now that you guys are filling me in that it's two-sided. Okay. So I think do you guys think that most people would probably do that two-sided? That's interesting. I just thought, like, generally, when I'd first learned that case, I was like, they look the exact same. Like, I compared two cubes together. I'm like, I don't know how to recognize this. So it's just going to have to be like a U2 and then another U2. I think in Timon's 382, that he got in Ohio, actually, he did... I'm unsure which case exactly it was. I think it was this one. He had this case for ZB, and he got it from this angle. And he did a U2 to recognize what it was, and then he had to do another U2. Obviously, the case is really short, and that's pretty good. But he had to do like two U2s to know what the ZB was and then execute it, which just adds a tiny bit of time. But what I'm trying to say about this is that, like, the execution here is so, like, incredibly flawless that it's hard to say whether or not, like, obviously I think generally you could say that ZBLS and the ZB will always, like, be generally faster than OLO PLO. There are definitely cases, and we know that, but it's to what extent, like, these, like, even the really good sets like TZBLL, sometimes, like, I'd like to see, you know, fastest ZB solvers in the world go up against Yiheng in terms of just, like, these specific cases. I don't know exactly how I'd find that, but, like, some of these specific cases and how fast they can actually be done. Usually for U cases, you recognize from the back, that's why. Oh. Well, he had to recognize from the front, I think. But, yeah, I used lefty A-perms. Yeah. Okay, yeah, you should do the entirety of the course, and then you'll be great at cubing. But no, it's crazy to even to think about that. Also, he has a camera right here. I don't know if you can see this, or it might be cut off in my little half-frame thingy I got going on here. But, yeah, he finishes the solve. Finally. This is like the kind of the story arc that I'm seeing here, is that it goes from, oh, come on, get a sub 4, in the words of Phoenix Patterson. It was get a sub 5, but, you know, get a sub 4. That's what he's saying in his mind. First solve, he gets a sub 4. Okay. Great last layer. I think it really just came down to the last layer executions here. It was really just, I think the first and last, no, I don't know. I'm not going to say that, but the last layer execution on the last one was great. Last layer execution on the first one was great. And then the middle ones were just pretty unlucky, I'd say. I mean, obviously, N-perm into 4.2 is wild. But yeah, what we learned is that, I don't know, it's difficult to say because he got two TZBL cases in this average. And I'd say he would have done them faster than anybody on the planet that does TZBL. And that's also added in that they'd have to do ZBLS before that and stuff like that. Obviously, hindsight's 20/20 when you look at these type of cases and you're like, oh, well, what if he just got, like, this case or this case, which obviously ZBLL users could do quicker because they're, like, 8-move cases or 9-move cases. But there are definitely times where Yiheng is faster at ZBL than ZBLL users, basically. But yeah, and then it's kind of a, you know, I wouldn't say underwhelming celebration, but it's just that he knows that, you know, 405, whatever. I don't like low 4 average. I just got another low 4 average at the beginning of the comp. Okay, I got a 4.6 in the next round. I think Shwani also got a 4.7 average in this comp, or maybe the last comp. He had 2 comps this weekend. He did like 6 rounds, and yeah. So also just, you know, he has a phone here. He does in fact have a phone. Let's check out if I can just actually go like this. Is my face gonna show up? It is. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what this goal thing is or like why it keeps going like that. Let's put it under there. I don't know what that is. I don't have any goals today, bro. I don't have any goals today. Actually, the goal is the goal is $1 million in super chats. That's what the goal is. He used the, I don't know what cube he used. He might have switched. I think he was using, dude, all the Weilongs are just getting like mixed up in my mind. I don't know, like, what's the very newest one called? I think he used that one. I don't know. I'm not a MoU sponsor. I'm sorry. He used something like that. And he's also sponsored by MoU, of course. Officially sponsored by MoU. There was a post and stuff. And he's doing all the PR and stuff like that. He's getting the commercials going, right? So yeah, he did that. Also, I want to take you guys over to this. Because Yiheng Wang's YouTube channel has been it's reborn. It's here. It's back, right? So now he's actually posted something on there. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Yiheng, for the super chat. You know, all I can say about Yiheng, one of my greatest YouTube commenters, I'm pretty sure Discord users, you know, chatters ever. Yeah, go ahead and like it up. That's, you know, I never thought I'd be making even $1 from YouTube ever in a live stream, especially. So I really do. I do appreciate that, dude. That means a lot. Thank you. I got $1 for reconstructing Yiheng Wang solves. That's how to make money tutorial 2024. He does have a YouTube channel. Yeah. Not sub to Yiheng and liking the vid is wild. That is true. That's very true. I'm sorry nobody saw that. Considering the amount of content I get out of this, man, I should be subbed, actually. I really should. So yeah, I'm now subbed to Yiheng Wang. Okay, this is true. You don't catch me in the act of, just viewing content without subbing. I'm sorry. It's a crime, okay? But he posted this solve. It was, what I find insane about this solve is just like, obviously what's in the title. First of all, like, why do I exist? Okay, when this exists, I don't need to exist. Okay, this is here. Yiheng Wang breakdown. I'm sorry, I don't know if the audio's on or anything, but it is a visual breakdown of what he was doing here. Of course, translated. So, I really just want to get to the last layer here because that's what he was talking about. So he does the last two pairs here. Pretty standard stuff or whatever. He actually not pretty standard stuff because he ends up like making a free pair here. I think, which is really interesting. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. Kind of like a J slotting thing, I think. I don't know. Yiheng's learning some pretty interesting stuff. I think we can deduce that at least. Yeah, I just profited off of a 10-year-old. I did, and I've done it many times in the past. In case you're wondering, I've done it many times in the past. Okay. Yeah, hopefully Yiheng uploads more on his channel so I can just farm more content. And also, it would be fun to see, some behind-the-scenes footage of solving. But yeah, that's a very interesting last two pairs. I don't even know, like, he started it, yeah. Just, like, notice that in real time is pretty impressive. Obviously, I say that about everything that Yiheng's ever done, but to notice this in real time is, like, insane. Also, speaking of noticing in real time, like, what is going on here? So, from this angle, right, he gets the soon, and I would have thought that he would do U2 soon, but instead he does U back anti soon. And then from here, I don't know how he recognizes this, but obviously he cancels into F perm here. I don't know how, like, I just don't know how this is even something that's seen in the solve. Like, how do you cancel out of a soon variant of anything, okay? That's like, you're literally just spamming moves, right? Like, okay, this keeps on. I don't even know. Yeah, whatever. You're, like, this is literally the case he got, right? Like, you're literally going like that. How do you even see that in time? I just don't. How do you see that in time to, like, make it worth it to even go for anything like this? But yeah, he cancels into soon, and then, or not into soon. He cancels into F perm. I just don't know. I feel like, look back at the actual solve too. Like, it doesn't even look like he just like stops mid doing it. I don't know. Wait, am I overstating this? I don't know. I have to actually analyze this for a second. I haven't ever gone into quarter speed on this solve. Because he made it look like when he was reconning. Okay, can we stop spamming H in my chat, please? I'm sorry. This is, yeah. You get to sit on the steps for 10 minutes. I'm sorry. Yeah, rocking the Tingman mat too. That's pretty hype. But I don't know if I'm overstating this. Let me actually see what's going on here. Because in the recon he was like, I think if we just like recon this for a second. Okay, no, it was like this. In the recon, he was just like, oh yeah, I just saw it from here, and I just like did this. You guys can't see that. I'm sorry. You guys really cannot see that. It's an F perm. Okay, look. This. He has this. In the recon, he made it look like he was here. This is terrible. And he did an F prime move. And then he solved the cube. Or like however you do the F perm algorithm. I'm pretty washed, to be honest. But he made it look like that. I think he might have been overstating what he actually did. Okay. Yeah, okay. It is a little bit, like, it's still impressive, don't get me wrong, to be doing that at this fast of a speed, but you can see here that it's like, so he does this, right? And then he cancels into it. Oh my goodness. Mike, thank you so much. Bless, appreciated, dude. That means a lot. You weren't sub until yesterday as well. Also calling sub 4 average from mid 2025. This is a content farm as well. Yes, it's true. And I really do appreciate you donating to the content farm. It's could have ever asked for more in my life. No, but yeah, dude, it's like bound to happen first half of 2025. I'd say for sure. No way. Yeah, you got to sub to Yiheng Wang. Everybody has to sub to Yiheng Wang. Also sub to SpeedCube NZ. Go and sub NZ. I don't know. I don't know how to speak multiple languages. I only speak one. Yeah, go sub up. Mike's got some some genius content going on over there. Really up in the live stream game. Definitely better than what I could do over here with what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm reconstructing kid solves for profit. I'm like, this is my life. Okay. Yeah, he definitely overstated what he did because he went from here. You can see he does this move. Like, he literally does a U move. And then he goes back and he's like, oh, wait, it's an F burn. So I'd say it's more of just a great PLO recognition than like, oh, he canceled into it. Because like in the recon, he's like, oh, I didn't really like bother to watch it back either, which is my bad. But in the recon, he's like, oh, I just straight up canceled it. I also don't know how accurate the translation is, but that's beside the point. Yeah, he's saying, oh, look, I can see that these moves can be canceled in the PLO. Don't know how legit that is. Yeah. So, yeah, he explained it like how you would explain it if you, if you didn't record the solve and you were like, oh, this is a genius solution, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it was as insane as I was saying it was, but he does have a YouTube channel, though. Yiheng Wang does have a YouTube channel, okay? And you can go ahead and subscribe to Yiheng Wang's YouTube channel because he's given me a lot in my life, okay? He's given me, there's some weeks where I'm just like, like, what's the video about this week? I'm like thinking, and then I'm like, oh, maybe it's about, maybe I'm just going to have to pull something from scratch and do like, I don't know, I've been making a lot of Yiheng Wang content lately, so let's like dial it back. So let's just make the Yiheng Wang problem. And that was a week where nothing was happening, and I was like, let's just farm more Yiheng Wang content. I'm sorry, my channel's gone, it's gone downhill, bro. But no. What I wanted to show you in here, I was just watching this like right before stream because it like Timon just posted it. It was funny. It's funny. I just like stopped on this frame. I was like, why is he staring at the camera, dude?
God,
it's like he's gonna set an ER. Just watch this.
Ready?
Yeah, you watch this. And then he just goes ahead and sets the ER. And, the calculation was interesting.
Sign it.
It took like 5 minutes for him to calculate the information. I'm not sure what happened. Yeah. And that was an interesting moment, for sure. But yeah, all of everything is happening at the same time. Yiheng Wang, Timon, everything. That's what 2024 has been about, dude. That is exactly what 2024 has been about. It's been just straight content. Okay, just straight content, which is why, like, I always like question, okay, when is it? This has to stop at some point, right? Like, we have to stop getting all of these insane results at some point. But, we just don't, dude. Yeah, there are views to be got translating Yiheng's reconstructions. That is true. Yeah, you could, there are views to be got by just teaching Yiheng English. At the same time, that would imply that like someone like me would have to learn Chinese. But no, that's not going to happen. I've thought about that before. I'm like, what if I could just like, when I go to Worlds or whatever, what if I could just converse with Xuanyi and like have a philosophical discussion? But that's not going to happen because I don't know Chinese. So that's unfortunate. Yeah. like, the ER was 1974, I think. It's in the video title. Go look at the video. Yeah. That's interesting. They're just messages in the chat that are interesting. The chat is great. I never thought in my life, like, sometimes I just have to step back and I'm like, I'm saying chat unironically. I'm not just like talking to my friends and being like, yo, chat, this, that. I remember when that started blowing up, but no, I actually say chat. It's actually something that happens. Hi, Linus. What's up, dude? I'm lucky to go to Worlds. Yeah, I'm happy it's in the US for once, dude. Or actually, I can't say for once because it's literally been in the US before. But I was like 6 years old, so I couldn't go. Yeah, the scrumble's on Rico.nz. Yeah. Stuff's just happening, dude. Go subscribe to Yiheng Wang. Go watch the video on... Sorry I didn't do this. Go watch the video and subscribe to Hananeko. Okay? I'm sure that pronunciation was great. Yeah, dude in the comments like 425 with N-perm, dude. What the Sigma? I took that from chat. I didn't actually say that. I'm sorry. What city is it in? It's in Seattle. Worlds 2027 is going to be in Sweden. I mean, people in Sweden wish it was in Sweden, you know. They really do wish. Druval wishes it was in Sweden. There are over 1 people who think it should be seen in Sweden. Maybe. I hope that makes you feel better. Yeah, people were saying the BGM good. Is the background like a good level? The audio, the background music, is it a good level? Because I like switched it out. Because I haven't like switched it in 8 months. I started streaming like 8 months ago, which is crazy. But yeah, I haven't also streamed in 3 months. It's been a long time. But this was just an excuse to talk to chat. Okay, this is exactly what the stream was. You know, whenever Yiheng gets a world record average, it's just like, okay, now we have a chance to talk to chat, right? And the chat's very delayed, but it's present at the same time, you know. Yeah, it's okay. Okay, good. I appreciate that. I appreciate the people in chat. Was the probability that Worlds 2025 podium is all kids? I'd like to just be optimistic and say that, oh, it's non-zero probability, but, you know, really, who am I to be talking about probability, you know? Honestly, who am I to be talking about probability? You know that if you've looked at the comments of my last video. You know that. Speaking of which, can somebody just explain to me, like, what the actual probability of what I was talking about was? I really want to know. Like, I actually want to know. This isn't just like, oh, like, I don't know. Something, you know, I actually want to know what the probability of these things was, okay? Because there are things going on in chat, right? But in comments, but you know, I tried to respond the best I could, but you know, I can't respond to everybody, and you know, well, I could if I like really wanted to, but some people just, you know, they drop paragraphs, and I didn't want to address everything all at once, so I was like, oh, the probability is 1 in 24 million, 241 million. If you just multiply 15,000 times 15,000, because that's what you do, right? Like, if, you know, if you just do that, you know, that's what you get. That's the number that you get. That's the number that I got, okay? So, if it's the number that I got, I was right, okay, at the end of the day. At the end of the day, the video is made, and there is nothing that anybody can do about the video being made. So, it was made, it was released, and yeah, that's how it is. How am I doing? That's a great question, Vitor. I really appreciate that. That's a really good question, you know, it's a question that really makes me sit down in here and appreciate that you're in chat right now and willing to ask me a question like that. I'm doing great, man, now that I have Yiheng Wang content to farm. I'm doing great. Before this, I was just like, oh. I'm taking AP stats, so I allegedly should know how to calculate these odds. Here I am wondering how to do so. You know what, Yiheng? That's exactly what I'm thinking, because I'm also taking AP stats, and I also do not know how to calculate those odds. I tried, but at the same time, nobody in the comments could even calculate those odds. Not a single person. I'm still waiting for a single person to be able to do it and not just say, you're wrong because I think you're wrong, you know? I'm waiting for somebody to say, you know, this is why you're wrong, right? So, you know, oh yeah, drop your world's podium in the comments. That'd be interesting. Why do I keep mixing these up? Chat. Drop your world's podium in the chat. I want to know that. Worlds will be very interesting for sure. Watching it in person would be insane. Elite Keeping Line says 1 Yiheng, 2 Xuanyi, 3 Timon. That's what people would like. Some order of that is what most people say. I'd like to see somebody unexpected going in the chat and not. Dude, I can't even speak. I'd like to see somebody unexpected get into that podium. We can let's actually do that right now. Let's see. Will my Wi-Fi work? I think it will. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it'll work at some point. No, I wanted to know what you guys think will be on the podium. 1 Yiheng, 2 Timon, 3 Xuanyi. Yeah. It's some combination of those for like almost everybody. Some people will say like, oh, Max just won, you know. Maybe. Max is pretty good under pressure, I'd say, most of the time. He did have some decently easy cases in that average he got, but I'd say he's pretty good under pressure, yeah. Luke is going to win with 7 PLL skips and 1 average of 5 stress. That's the spirit. That'll definitely happen. The Luke Garrett luck will come to fruition in its final peak of 5 straight LL skips and like a 3 average. What are the odds of someone calculating the odds correctly? That's a great question. That is a very good question. It's 0 because nobody's calculated the odds. I'm sorry. I'll just sit here and like continue to say this because everybody wants to say I'm wrong, but they don't want to tell me why. They don't want to tell me why. They just don't. Nobody will tell me that. You think Maddie has a chance? Yeah, I think so. I think, like, if I can actually pull this up, I'd say, like, what would he be in the rankings? I think he's like 6th or 7th, right? Yeah, we're gonna do an analysis chat. I also, when I was like registering for it, I was like, oh, this is gonna be, you know, this is gonna be intense. Like, I really have to be on my game for this. But I really like underestimated, or overestimated rather, how packed it was gonna be at the beginning, because I was phase 2, because I have like a 9.0 something 3x3 average. So I was phase 2 for it, and I was like, I'm gonna have to get in there like 9:05 max. So I was on there like early in that, but it wasn't that insane. I think my computer crashed like 4 times, and I still was able to register pretty easily. So yeah, it wasn't as insane as I thought, which is a good thing, depending on how you see that. Yeah, you guys can see this, right? So what are we looking at? We're looking at single. That's the problem. Okay, so like, why is Max first? Yiheng, yeah. Okay, so you're saying, yeah. I mean, it's hard to say, like, to like just cut off and say, okay, this is who can make it and this is who can't. But also, nerve control is a huge thing, and like a world's podium is so. I feel like it's just so scramble dependent at this point. Like when you're only doing 5 solves. Of course, you could say, okay, Yiheng's the clear favorite here. And I still think he definitely is the clear favorite, obviously. It doesn't take a genius to know that, but it's very, like, yeah, it's very scramble dependent. And I don't know. I'm not preying on Chinese keeper's downfall or anything, but I hope that other colors are good because, you know, as we go down the list here, you know, all these people are color neutral and stuff, so it'll be interesting in that final. Also, I do think that, like, that round 3 going into finals, it's going to surprise a lot of people because this is, like, a huge moment that I feel like is even more hyped than 2023 Worlds because of all the narratives and stuff. And, like, round 3 is going to be pretty sad. I'm sorry, it just is. Like, it's going to be sad to watch because you're going to see, like, a lot of people you thought would get into finals just not. what is it, top 16? Yeah, it's always top 16. It's like, I mean, like even if you just cut it off at top 16, like it's literally, yeah, it's Greiser. Like it's, I mean, it's like, it's a mid 5 average. Okay. Like, then that's 16th. So, like theoretically speaking, you're saying that all of these people don't make it into finals, which is crazy to think about in any situation. Okay. Yeah. So, I have no idea who I would even say just would make it into finals completely, but it's like Hansen, you better cook. It's so true, dude. Hansen's gonna pull up in the spiffiest suit we've ever seen. It's gonna be a completely different wardrobe. He's gonna pull up just dropping fours, dude. Like, Dylan, you were saying like, oh, I looked at his solutions and I did smart things and like actually looked at what he was doing here on these solves, and he's not as sub 5 potential as you would otherwise think. But who knows? Maybe I don't think Yiheng was this efficient when he was Hansen's age. Okay, I don't know how old Hansen is, but I don't think Yiheng was as efficient as he is now, right? So who knows? Hansen, I don't know, where is Hansen on this list? Can I just like, bro, where's my man Hansen you in these Worlds registrations, dude? It's pretty depressing. I want to take a step back from cubing for a little while after seeing that. That's pretty sad. Bro, if Hansen's not going to Worlds, I ain't coming. Okay, I ain't coming to Worlds if Hansen's not going to Worlds. Yeah, that's sad. I mean, it makes sense though, because like, it's in China, or he lives in China, so it's like a lot of these people are already making huge trips over here, so it's difficult. I understand, but at the same time, you're Hansen, and just for me saying that you have to come, you have to be there, dude. Hansen, you has to be at Worlds, okay? He just has to. Don't worry, he's a Sigma. He competes outside the World Champs. Yeah. He does, yeah. He doesn't need the World Champs to prove his dominance, dude. Like why would he need that? He's Hansen. He doesn't need any sort of like exterior validation to really prove who he is, He just he comes close to a podium at Asians, and that's all he needs, because he doesn't compete off of home turf. He doesn't come to somebody else's their crib and he's like, yo, I wanna win. No, he doesn't care. He doesn't need that. He doesn't. It's all in his head, He's quiet unless you know him for real, He's a nonchalant guy. But back to the point of discussion. Oh my goodness, that was an interesting tangent there. Yeah, I mean, it's sad to see certain people fall, but like, it only makes sense. Actually, it doesn't make sense for Felix to still be in this conversation at all. Okay, I don't know how he's still in this conversation, but he is, considering like how much, just how much it would take to retain the times that you're already getting over all of these years. Like, he has to practice at least a little bit, right? And it has to be like decent practice for him to even be, averaging like, what does he average at? Probably like 6'3" or 6'4", I don't know. Something like that. That's probably what he averages. Will I ever make any content besides cubing? Not on this channel. There's no way. That's what this channel is for, dude. I have made content outside of cubing, but y'all don't want to see the Lego stop motion animations. You don't. It's nasty. I was disgusting at that. Okay. Yeah, people are saying like, oh, the case for Felix to win Worlds 2023. Let's be real here. Like, if he did that, that would be like one of the greatest accomplishments. Maybe the greatest accomplishment in cubing ever. Like in year 14, that would be. Now it's going to be like year 16, so it's like, I mean, to even say like he has a chance at making finals is extremely impressive. Yeah. So, I don't know. I think, I mean, we like to say, oh, Max is falling behind of like these insane times that top 4 are putting up, but it's like he still has the experience and he has the nerve control sometimes. So I think he only loses nerve control at small competitions because he like has something to lose, you know. If he goes into Worlds, like he wasn't expected to beat Yiheng. He wasn't probably even expected to beat Timon. He was just up there, you know. So if he doesn't do well, it's like, okay, well, I didn't do well at 2019. Like it's the same thing. I don't know. That might just be propaganda. Yeah, I don't know. So Felix might go, but he didn't even make semis last World. Yeah, what was that? That was like top 72 or something. What was the time? Was it like, it was like mid 7, high 7 maybe. So yeah, watching those solves, I was watching on stream. It was pretty sad because like I could just tell like he was obviously nervous because people expected him to make finals, or I mean semifinals for some reason. Well, not for some reason. I mean they expected him to make semifinals. But you know, things happen, and in the moment, and that's probably all he was ever thinking about, like going into that competition. And it just shows, like, even if you do have the experience of losing 2011, winning 2013, winning 2015, winning back-to-back Worlds, it's still Worlds. It's like, it's still a once every 2 years thing that people expect you to make the next round, or people, you know, say this or say that about you, or, you know, I really want to make this next round, or I want to give myself the chance to win this competition. It's like, it's still Worlds, you know, and it's insane how much, you know, how much the nerves have to deal with that. Yeah, I want you to do that, Fat Squirrel, please. I really do want you to do that. If you do have a math degree, that would be great. Because I didn't even like want to ask my math teacher at school, because I was like, because I'm in stats, I didn't actually want to ask him, because it's like, it's just not something that's even possible to calculate, I don't think. Like, besides just what I said, which is one way to calculate it, I don't think there's any other way to really say anything about that probability. Because it's like, you know, any cube recommendations? This one, V5, great cube, perfect cube. Felix didn't make it because he had poor scheduling and stuff, I think. Jay got sub 7 in round 1, which is insane. Well, yeah. And then he got a 9 average in second. Okay. Yeah, was he in the first group or something? I heard somebody else say that. I don't remember exactly what group he was in, but that probably has a factor into it that a lot of people don't think about, including myself just now. Yeah, I mean, it's just difficult, you know. It's difficult. That round 3 especially, even round 2, you know, like, you know, in some situations, especially when you're like Felix and you're somehow expected to practice even though you're like 27, 28 years old and you're not really going for, you know, a world championship anymore. It was just a difficult situation to be in general, just mentally. Like, it was just hard. But yeah, I don't know. I like just looking at this, the psych sheet. It's difficult to even say like who would make top 16 in this situation. I don't know like who would be the stragglers of the top 16. At the same time, you could say like you could see one of these top 5 being the stragglers in the top 16. You saw Roy Hung place 8th in Asian semis, and it's just the nerves, dude. It's the semis nerves, you know. It's just what happens. And yeah, Felix 2027 win would be not possible. Not possible in any way. Okay, let's not kid ourselves here. I love Felix, but there's just no way, right? But yeah, he's dealt with that before. 2011, he dealt with that. I feel like all of the favorites in sports in 2011 just choked. In general, you know, if you know, you know. LeBron James, 8 points. I'm talking about that. Yeah, I am. So any LeBron fans out there, it happened. Yeah, 2011 wasn't a great year for anybody. You think Caleb will make it? Yeah, I mean, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, but he also has the thing where like he's also dual color neutral. I wonder how that's gonna play into everything. Like what do the scrambles look like? Because at the end of the day, we're all gonna end up looking at these scrambles a ton. We're all gonna end up looking at, you know, what were the world scrambles and like, you know, what were the reconstructions of them, because it's like 5 scrambles for 2 years, you know. That's what we did last year, last year. But this year even more so, it's like, how does the dual color neutrality, like, you know, versus full color neutrality really play into this? Yeah, Yiheng and Timon are unfortunately, you know, Yiheng could be in chat right now, actually. He could. You know, he has no excuse to not be in chat right now, because his channel is working now. You know, he's actually uploading on his channel. Because at the very outset of me starting to like make content about this stuff, I was like, oh, Yiheng has a channel, right? Like, no, he doesn't. He posted one video like 2 years ago about his miss scramble on like a 475 or something. Yeah, I am pulling up to Worlds, yeah. How long will stream continue? A little bit. I'm not leaving until we figure out where Hanson Yu went on the psych sheet. Where is Hanson Yu? Where are you? I don't know, dude. That's difficult. It's difficult for the soul. It's, you know. I wonder how many of those Chinese cubers that are like, you know, don't want to say like mid-range of elite, but like mid-range of elite are not going to be there. Yeah, the revolution is overtaking CFOG for sure. Even though you know you have Drew, he's just going to be like an outlier, like him and Luke and stuff. But yeah, I would hope like Leo can make one, you know, another push for something crazy here, but it's just the nerves, dude. Like for all of these guys, I don't even know. Like, okay, who out of these people would you say has the best nerve control? I think both of you are probably gonna, or not both of you. I'm talking like there are 2 people in the chat. Bofon and Lincoln are not pulling up. Yeah, it is clutch for you know, Pira and stuff, and Lincoln is also really good at 3x3. But that is clutch. Yeah. If you want to go stalk my account, I'll put it in the chat. I was gonna say, who do you guys think has the best nerve control of everybody on this list? Yeah, you guys are probably gonna say Timon. I mean, it's really, at this point, it's hard to say, because we haven't really seen Yiheng in any majors aside from Asians. Like, we've seen all of the stuff that Timon can do at all of the majors and stuff, and, like, you know, the nerve control there, but yeah, Yiheng and Timon are close. I don't know, like, again, like, I don't know how close exactly Yiheng is, or, like, what that would look like in a 5-solve situation where you literally only have those 5 solves, and, like, Asians was kind of like that, but he dropped a 422, or 442, but it's like, it's not Worlds, you know? It's not the same. Timon definitely has more experience, yeah. What's your opinion on the downfall of people who aren't Chinese 7-year-olds? You're looking at one right here. It's, you know, it's, I wouldn't say it's disappointing, but it's disappointing for me knowing that, I will never be close whatsoever, because I'm not, you know, I'm not gonna get there. I'm just not. I would like to say, I mean, yeah, everybody's just saying Yiheng, Timon, Xuanyi, right? But, I don't know. I would like to, you know, I'd like to see a mixed podium of, like, people we didn't think would podium. Because it is Worlds, so, you know, that's probably, honestly, I would kind of bet on that happening. At least for the 2nd and 3rd spots. Because, like, it's just interesting. I mean, like, the chances that we see another Yiheng choke job the level of Solve 5 2023 is not probable, considering he'll probably have a huge gap by the time he gets to Solve 5. World's 19 type podium, dude, I kind of hope. Yeah, I hope we see like a Philip. This is a good question for chat. Who's the Philip of this conversation here? Because what was he on the psych sheet going into 2019? Like, what are we thinking? Like, who's that guy to, like, come in and just, I don't even know if I can say take the win just with how Yiheng's been performing in comp, but let's say at least take a top 3 spot. Okay. Caleb Chen world champion. That would be the greatest moment of all ever. SPV second world's podium would be wild. That's also interesting because then it's like, well, how do the difference in methods, considering he's the only one that uses a different method out of like the top, I don't want to say a number, but 50 or something. So it's like obviously ZB, but you know, it's basically CFOP and F2L. But like how the scrambles will impact that as well is interesting. Luke's the fill up. Yeah, I could see it. I mean, podium to knack. Who knows, right? Do not put a parlay on me. Dude, the parlays, we're gonna have cubing betting by the time Worlds 2025 comes around, and I'm gonna be putting all of my money, a giant down payment, on Dylan Miller top 1 actually, because you see everybody here is just gonna choke and Dylan's gonna get a sub 5 average. My name is my profile is in the chat. Just look up Owen Stotts, STOTTS on WCA. I don't know why you would want to do that, because you just don't want to see my profile. I have best nerve control. I do. Stu does have the best nerve control. Actually, the key to having nerve control is just like not caring at all, because you just like I just don't care at all anymore. Like I could get like I could pull up and just get a 12 average and I don't care, or I could get like an 8 average and I don't care. It doesn't matter, It just doesn't matter. Yeah, this is getting excessive, you guys. This is getting excessive. He already does it to himself enough. We don't need more praise, dude. Chishen Sao is the Phillip. It's like, I don't know. I hate to hate on a 7-year-old and be like, you fell off, but she's not like Schwanee levels, right? I don't think, any. I don't think any other. I don't even know where I'm going with that sentence, but no, like, I don't want to hate on like a kid who's 7, but she just hasn't made the jump to where Schwanee is in terms of recognition and execution of ZB, I'd say. Also, the F2L is like usually a problem for her, where like she makes mistakes sometimes and gets like 8s, and then she usually ends up with like a 6 average because she counts like an 8. It is preposterous to say that in a sentence. The world we live in where like you can fall off at 7 years old is insane. Like I don't even know where the comment is on that. Like it just feels wrong, to even, it feels morally corrupt to be saying something like that. It's a depravity, to say that somebody fell off at age 7. It's also a depravity to say somebody fell off at like age 18. Like, all right then, Unc, like, that's what people say whenever they look at somebody and they're like, if you're over like 16 years old, it might be over for you. That's crazy to say, but that's just how the meta's working. Help, Chad, I'm dying. Somebody clip that, please. And put up one last YouTube short before I die. No, I'm dying. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm sorry. I never drink water again. This is an insane stream. Insane what's going on right now. I was gonna say, I heard somebody before I got ahead of myself. I heard somebody talking about the fact that like, since the age spectrum has been so dialed back, maybe we'll see it go forward again, where like it'll go back to what it is, like late teens are going to be dominating cubing again in like 5-10 years. Because basically how that works is like, since the meta is completely changing to ZB, the person who's been using ZB longer is naturally going to be faster than like that 7-year-old. The reason that Schwanee was so fast is because he was 6 years old using a method that nobody had ever mastered like that, right? Like we've seen, Anthony Brooks, other people use ZB, but not to that level of like where you have. Now these people that will be, mid-late teens will still have to start using ZB when they're like 6 or 7 years old, at least. But then whenever, you get to, like 5-10 years down the road, we'll see those kids that were younger now are going to be older than, oh my goodness, dude, my chest is dying. And then it's going to go back to the meta of like, okay, well maybe, later teen cubers are going to be better, because they're just going to have more experience with it. That's not to say they weren't a 6-year-old who knew full ZB at one point, but it also means that the age spectrum is going to be moving back. I don't know exactly who said that. I think it was on Speedcubing TV podcast. Yeah, it is almost like I'm still here, dude. I'm among us right now. I'm still here, man. I survived. Yeah, that's another thing I was going to talk about real quick. Is like, I don't know where. I don't even know where I'm going right now. What I was going to say is like, the dominance, like Yiheng's dominance is just updated again because he got more averages in there. But now I think he has, if I'm correct, and I can go here, I think, where is it? Average. I think he has like the top 26 averages ever, because you're going to add in maybe 27 because you add in 421, 466, and 405. So we're looking at the top 26 averages, 27 averages ever, which I don't know how many Felix had when he was like, peak. What year was peak Felix, chat? I think like let's say 2015 maybe. Yeah. 2015, 2016. Like, how many of the top averages did he have? Because I feel like the Mats rivalry is really played up to a level that I don't know. It's not like he didn't have a chance. Obviously, he came close in like 2013, but it's like it's played up to a level where it wasn't like they both had the same amount of averages in the top 10 or something. I don't know how many he had. In the early 2000s, we said that ZB was going to be a CFOP killer, and everybody turned on it, and it died out and came back. World-class ZZCT user. ZZCT. Oh my goodness. Takes me back. I remember like just sitting down and listening to, I think, Laser Monkey on the Laser Monkey YouTube channel. There was a Chris Tran seminar, and he was like, the one thing that I remember sticking out to me from that when I heard it and I got really excited, it was, yeah, so ZBLO isn't that hard. All you have to do is just mirror all of the algs, and then some of the algs are like, you have this 3-move trigger, and then you do this, and then you do that, and it's like, it's just piece by piece, you only have to memorize half of them, and you have all these, really easy triggers to go. I'm like, dude, I should just go learn ZB. And then you realize that doing the lefty algs is not going to get you any farther than just doing all PLO. Like, the lefty algs are rough. Do not do that. Yeah, I just don't, like... I think this is the meta that we're going to stick with for a very, very long time. Which is just ZBLS, ZB, it's what it has to be. There's, like, not going to be... The optimizations are all going to be in F2L. I don't think there's anything else you can do to LL to, like, make it any better. Besides just, like, knowing when to do, like when you have this F2L case, right? It's just knowing when to do RU prime R prime or, like, do RU to R prime. Because Yiheng already does that in some of his solves to, like, get away from, like, a pi case. I'm sure a lot of people do that, but it just won't be, it won't be to the level of, like, I can influence which ZB I'm getting. I don't think that'll come for a very long time. That's not even, like, physically possible, I don't think. Unless you traced full F2L in inspection and you trace multiple different full F2Ls in inspection. Like, it's not possible. Yeah, it's every time I look at this page, like this one in particular, it strikes me as like what is happening, dude? It just doesn't make any sense. I don't know. It's where I say like, oh, I really think that this person could win or this person could win at Worlds, but dude, it's like what's happening, dude? It doesn't make any sense. And like this one was in a high pressure situation. This one was in the highest pressure situation he's ever been in his life. And like, I don't even know what to say about these. It's like, yeah, people have gotten 4-7 before. 2 people have gotten 4-7 before, right? And they've done it multiple times. Each. But I don't, like, nobody's even touched the 4-6 from March 2023. Nobody's touched 4-4. Nobody's touched 4-5. Like, and he's getting at least one of those every single comp. It's just going to come down to like, you know, I guess it's obvious to say, can he handle the pressure and stuff? But I feel like even if he were to make some tiny minor mistakes here and like turning or whatever, what have you, to the level that they were in 2023, that at this point, he's gained such a large advantage from where he was then. Like then he was the world record holder, but he didn't have this level of dominance. Now he does, and I think he has the cushion to like where he could have a 2023 level performance and still win. It's like when LeBron lost in 2011. Yes, I'm saying that again because I guess I'm just a hater, I guess. I don't know. I'm comparing this because it's interesting to compare these two things. If you know anything about basketball, like when LeBron lost in 2011, it was shocking, but it was also like, okay, well, he's just entering his prime now, so 2 years down the line, even 1 year down the line, you know, he's winning 2012 and 13. Even if he does have some slip-ups, like, he's still going to win, you know? He's still going to put up insane numbers. And this is what's probably going to happen, dude. Like, I don't know. I just don't see anybody else, like winning. I'm sorry. I just don't. If I were to be completely honest. But I like to say there's always a chance, you know? There is, because, I mean, Timon gets it in 6 days, I'm calling it. Like 4-6? Yeah, I mean, it's coming, dude. I mean, I think, I don't know. Has he had, what's his, like, he's had like 4.3 BPA, but that's obviously considering you would count like a 379 or something. So it's not entirely possible, but that you might get a 4.3 average, but it's not possible for anybody besides Yiheng. Really. Like it is, but not really. You know? Even Xuanyi, like in the in his last comp, let's just go to like the last comp where Yiheng actually got the world record, which was this weekend, of course. Even in that comp, it was like, well, you know, like, this is actually the comp before that. I don't even know where my stuff is. Here. It was like, okay, so I was refreshing the page and I was like, you know, because I'm terminally addicted to Chinese cubers results on cubingchina.com. And I see this and I'm like, okay, he got 489. Like, is this just a normalcy for him now? Like, is it a normalcy? Is he like kind of matching Timon in terms of how frequent sub 5 happens for him? Because you've seen Timon just pull up to a comp and get a sub 5 average. But I don't know. Okay, wait. Yeah, he got this in the first round, right? Yeah, he did. I don't know. This website's bugging right now. Second round, he got a mid 5, and third round, he actually lost to Zhen Chen. So it's like, I don't know. I'd have to like look into the actual solves. I can't find them anywhere, but yeah, here it was that 7 that kind of, you know, it counted a 5-9. And here it was another 7 that counted a 6 flat at the end. So, or not, no, what am I talking about? It was a 6 that counted like another 6. But what I'm saying is like, he's not at that consistency level yet, I don't think. And even if we were to look at, what was the other competition? Even if we were to look at the other one, which she went to the next day, which was, oh, is he not going to Worlds? I didn't know that. Yeah, he's not. Okay, I didn't know that. I'd have to look that up. I didn't know. Yeah, it's interesting to see who's not going. I assume it's just all, you know, the mid-elite level Chinese scoopers. A bunch of them, at least. Yeah, he's not... I just spotlight searched. Command F. He's not going. Owen Zhang is going. W first name. But what I was going to say is... Looking at this one. This was the Zhangzhou Open, I think is how you pronounce it. I don't know. This was his second competition of the weekend, and he had 6 averages in total. You know, low 5 here, basically sub 5 average. And then he goes back to mid 5, and it's like, okay, so, and then he goes, you know, 4-7 at the end. So it's like, okay, well, he probably globals low 5, but it's like, what kind of a low 5, you know? And how consistent actually is he? I don't know. I don't think, like, he'll drop like a sub 5 average, and then he'll just go back to like mid 5, and then it's like, I don't know. He's not at that level where he's just like, I don't know how to exactly describe it, but where he's like Yiheng levels of consistency. I don't, like, Yiheng doesn't vary that often between this type of stuff. Like, he's usually just, he's either getting a world record or whatever, or he's just getting like a high 4 average, and it's like, oh, another high 4 average. Like, dude, come on, do better. But no, he doesn't have the Yiheng type of consistency for sure. Oh, Yufeng, dude, I haven't really looked into this that much. Yeah, I don't. That's crazy. Yeah, it's all of the mid-elite level Chinese keepers like that are right there, but not like Xuanyi and Yiheng levels. You know, that is clutch for top 16 for making it to finals. Yeah, it's clutch, dude. He's crazy consistent when you see it. Interesting. Dylan Millar will win Worlds. I agree. That'd be great. Yeah, I didn't see him at Asians. Yeah, he wasn't at Asians. At least I remember making the video, and I never talked about Yufeng. I just remember talking about Bofon a lot and stuff, and just like, you know, constantly watching those solves and just like over and over and over again. It's kind of painful. But they were beautiful solves, you know. How much ZB does Bofon know? Does he? I think, is it full? I don't know, maybe minus Soons. Because I don't think he's on the very top level, but in terms of like knowledge of Algs. But Bofon's like right up there too. Where's Bofon on here? There's no, dude, I keep hitting that button. Holy. Don't tell me. Dude, it's going to be like Bofon, Zhenjian, Yufeng Du. Oh my goodness. He did that HZB in Worlds Finals. Yeah, but I feel like that's a case a lot of people know. That is... Oh, you keep saying a lot of these things are massive. Like, dude, we're going to see a lot of, you know, a lot of people can sneak into top 16. That's why it's going to be so varied, because there's not as many spots that are like, I don't want to say guaranteed, but they're predicted to be filled by somebody, you know? Like, there's a lot of variance here in like the 16, 17, 18 range, you know, like right here, where like any of these dudes, I've seen them all like compete in majors and stuff. Sometimes they do great, and sometimes they don't. And it's like, you know, you could either see a low 7 average or like a sub 5 average. Yeah, it's insane. You know what else is massive? Dude, there's definitely something. You know, to this day, still, everybody's talking about it everywhere. Most of the higher Chinese level solvers, When it would probably be over half Chinese finals. Yeah, dude, it would. Why am I filtering by single? What am I doing? I was looking at this. I was going down the list, and I'm like, Aiden Granger. Yeah, he'll be making finals. Yeah, he'd definitely be there. No, but like, it would. It definitely would. How many people? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 Chinese competitors in the top 27, which is clutch. That is very true, because you would have like 8 or 9 in finals. So yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, I don't. It's just so difficult to predict this stuff at the very end. Like, if I could even say like a guarantee, which even in semifinals you can never guarantee anything, because any of these dudes could have like one bad solve in solve 1 or solve 2, and then you get to the last 3 and it's like, well, now it feels like the finals, dude, because it's like, if I don't even make it to the finals, I can't win. So it gets insane. But like, second round, first round doesn't matter. For top 16 people, I'd say probably. I don't know. Felix was a different case because like he's in year 15 or whatever. And you can get like a mid 7 average and probably makes top 72. What is it on the psych sheet? Obviously it's skewed because I think it's top 72, right? Isn't that what makes semis? I don't know what this would be. I think maybe like low 7, sub 7 for top 72. That'd be crazy. What do you guys think for finals? What do you guys think would be the cutoff? It's hard. It's difficult to say. What'd you miss? Some stuff. Some stuff happened. That's for sure. The stream will be on my channel after. Maddie will be number 4 in the world by Worlds 2025. What would that be? That would be 484. I mean, he's right at sub 5. Depends on how good the sub 5 is, though. He's had times where he's like missed NAR, but like his first sub 5 might be like a 4.9. It's still crazy that Luke got a sub 5. That's insane. His PR was already so good, even for like 2 years after. I don't know how that's even possible. 6.2 to 6.5. Yeah, it is hard to say. That'd be insane. Do you imagine like there could actually be a world where sub 6 is the cutoff? And we were talking about like in 2023 at Nats, we were like, when I was watching that, everybody was talking about, sub 7 cutoff is crazy for finals. It might be sub 6, which is an elite average for anybody that can even get a sub 6 average. Last Worlds was pretty competitive, and NAC was the exact opposite. Yeah, what was NAC? Yeah, because a lot of people, not people, just like averages I didn't think would make it, and the final made it. It was like 7.2 or something was cut off, which is like higher than what it was for Nats, which is insane. So yeah, that was interesting for sure. Podium order: Yufeng, Timon, and Yiheng. Well, unfortunately, your podium is inadequate, I think. Not in the way that you're wrong in a hypothetical situation, but you're wrong because Yufeng won't be there. So that's pretty unfortunate. Him beating Timon and Yiheng would be, if he was there, would be pretty wild. Yeah. There just aren't enough Chinese cubers coming to cut off be sub 6. Yeah. When you consider the nerves, it's like, I don't know. It probably won't be sub 6. But there's a world where that happens, and there's a world where Philip Vierk becomes a 2-time world champion. He actually made finals. That's crazy. Yeah. It's just the lack of Chinese cubers, which I didn't actually notice until now because I didn't look at this. It's the lack of those like very high level ones that aren't quite at this top 3 level. That are making like the ones that are at like Qishen's level or like a little faster are not going, which is going to have a huge factor on top 16. You hope it will be top 37 so you can make finals. What's your average? I don't. Even if it was top 37, you'd have to be one of these people, which I'm pretty sure you're not. You're not one of these people. I don't know. I'm sorry if I don't know who you are, but oh my goodness. Tim on Yiheng, Dylan Miller. I guess. I mean, who's to say if I don't put my mortgage on Dylan Miller making the podium, who's to say, like, I can't just sue him, man. I could just sue him, you know? I could just do that. Like, it'd be his fault if he didn't make the podium and I lost all of my money because of that. Like, when is cubing betting becoming a thing, finally, right? What did he do? I just showed up. You just show up to the world, my man? Like, what are you talking about? I just showed up. No, you know, Yiheng got a pretty solid average for him. 3 times. Okay? 3 times. Go check out the, go to cubingchina.com. It's a little one with a cookie on it, and you'll find some interesting. Born is the guy born yesterday. It's a confounding sentence right there. Yeah, I really hope Leo can, you know, top 5, maybe. It's possible. I still think he's underrated because he's just gone under the radar because, you know, lack of competing and just like opportunities, probably. Same with Yiheng, which is, I talked about that in like a ton of videos, is like he's just gone under the radar because he doesn't compete. Yeah. What's up, Volodymyr? I was looking at that. I was looking at the rankings or whatever, and I was like, because I was trying to see like who's the closest to being as dominant as Yiheng is. Oh my goodness, it won't load. I was saying who's the closest to being as dominant as Yiheng is in 3x3 right now in any other event, and you were up there. I think it was like, I don't even know who else. I think Tommy Cherry had a lot of good blind results, at least for mean. But 3x3 average being the most dominant anybody is ever in an event at this point is crazy. That should not be a thing. Like, it just doesn't make sense. I don't know if, I think Felix probably did that right, but besides that, it's telling like how much we are comparing him to Felix, right? It's like nobody else is even close to being compared to Felix in any event, I don't think. Yep, Yiheng Wang to get a new... Okay, great. I can't even... This is insane. I can't even load a page at all. That's great. Vsauce music? Is it Vsauce music? I don't know. Does Vsauce use 8-bit music? I didn't think so. I didn't think Vsauce did that. Vsauce uploads YouTube shorts now, so I don't know what the music are in those. What's up, Alex? 2016 Chris Olsen said Felix was going to be the fastest ever at 3x3. And he was right. In 2016, he was right. I don't think that was a good... if he did make that prediction, I don't think that was a good prediction to make. Considering that life goes on after the current year that we're in. Like, just how it's dumb to say that Yiheng will be the fastest ever. Like, I don't think. Greatest of all time, yeah, that's super valid and it's true. I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, Felix will be the greatest of all time, like, forever. I don't think it's possible for anybody to ever beat him just because of when he did what he did. Like, it just isn't possible for somebody to come in now and dominate as many events as he did. He had 2x2 world record average. I think he had big blind, like, world records. It's like, it just doesn't make sense for anybody else to do that. You know, it's not going to happen. You know, nobody's going to ever be the greatest of all time besides him, I don't think. Literally the MJ versus LeBron debate? Is it, though? I don't think it is, because MJ's can easily be passed. At least by LeBron, not easily, like, in general, but by LeBron. Anyone could do anything, and Felix just did it better. Yeah, but, like, is MJ really, like... I don't want to, like, go into an NBA debate or whatever, but I don't think MJ really has the legacy that Felix has when you compare it to cubing and whatever. I feel like when Stephen A was arguing about the what was it like what Pokemon was it? It was like the Squirtle. I don't know what it was. No one ever passing MJ. The Unk status is bona fide. Bona fide Unk in the chat. No one ever passing MJ is crazy. It was a Charizard. That's correct. I think the Charizard, man, the Charizard, he got the, what was he talking about? He was talking about like the wingspan or something. I don't think the Charizard was he 6'8"? He was like 6'8", 230 or something. You're like, he got them quick hands, you can get a steal maybe. I don't know. I like how he actually broke it down. I like this this comparison because it's interesting. I don't think Felix is the Jordan. I don't think it's fair to compare Felix to Jordan in terms of the greatness, because I don't think it's even possible to beat. If we're just looking at all around every event, I don't think it's possible to beat. He's drafting Mewtwo. What was the other one? What's the Cars one? What was that? That was like... Goodness, I need to find this video. Or not... Yeah. I need to find what Stephen A. said. It was, what was it? Doc Hudson was up there. It was... I'm sorry if you guys are... Here, Strip the King Weathers. That's a good conversation right there. Who's greater all time? Strip Weathers or Lightning McQueen? That's interesting. If you're really an old head, you can go for Doc. But I'd say Strip, actually, I was looking into the stats the other day. I think Strip actually has a good argument, dude. Like, he could actually be up there, dude. Like, he has the stats to back it up, I'd say. The only person capable of beating Felix is Max, and Max would need to just prolong his career and live it. Yeah. But, like, he doesn't have the 3x3 dominance. Does he? Who's better 5x5 of all time? I think Felix might be better 5x5 of all time. I think he might. 6x6, I'd say 6 and 7 Max has that. But he doesn't have any 2x2 world records, which I keep bringing that up, but it's funny that he does, which is hilarious. But he doesn't have the 3x3 dominance either. I think the only thing he has is 6 and 7, and it's like, how much historical importance does that really have, Felix would have done what Max did, but quicker in a more dominant fashion. Like, Felix went out on top, and Max is kind of better, Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he never really went out, but, like, he technically, I guess you could say, like, the cutoff of when his career of, like, being in the conversation for, like, top 3, top whatever, was, like, the 2020 barrier. Like, if COVID never happened, who knows what happens then? I don't know. I don't know how that played into his career, but it's interesting to think about that. Yeah, you're gonna need a Goat Arc. Somebody's gonna need a Goat Arc, dude. Cube Master did the stat stuff. Felix has so many more points in 5x5 than Max does. Yeah. Felix is very underrated in his 5x5 dominance. Like, if you go back and look at that stuff, like, go use, like, the... I don't know if you could just use the Wayback Machine and look at that, but just in general, like, if you just look at records history, it's pretty clear Felix is the greatest 5x5 solver of all time. We just look at results. Yeah. I think it was just the time, for the time that he did it at, like, yeah, for the time that he solved the cube at, that's definitely what I meant by that sentence. No, for the time that, the time period, I don't think it's close. Well, it might be close, because Max in 5x5. But no. Yeah, I don't, like, nobody will ever, it just isn't, like, logically possible for anybody to ever live up to Felix's legacy, I don't think. I don't know, is it his favorite event? I didn't know that. I don't know, I don't know how easy it would be for Timon to just completely take off with 5x5. I mean, it's still, to an extent, dominated by Max, except for the single. He's had so many top averages. Yeah, it's just, Kevin's go at 6 and 7. I don't know, I'd have to look at the stats. It's an interesting comparison. Felix versus Max at 6 and 7. How many world records did Kevin have in like average and mean? I don't know. Yeah, he has 5. Like, if we're just looking at greatest of all time of every single category, 7, I don't know, 6 and 7, I have to actually look at it because I'm just not well versed in that. 5, it would have to be Felix. 4, probably be Max, right? I'd say it'd probably be Max. I don't know why I skipped over 4 when I was talking about this stuff. Yeah, and then 3. It's an interesting debate. It's an interesting debate. As of now, I can't even say anything. I actually can't. Who do you guys think 3 would be? It's actually difficult. Like 3x3. GOAT. It's difficult, but you know, over the course of more time, maybe Yiheng can do it, but you know, Felix just for 10 years like had every world record ever, so at least it seemed like that. And then he like lost it to Max in like 2017, but you know, he basically had it the whole time. Oh yeah, how close is Sebastian Weyer? That's interesting. Because then we'd also be taking into consideration like not just like world records and stuff, but like championships. Timon best 3rd candidate for GOAT. Yeah, I was talking about like what would it take for Yiheng to get to 3x3 GOAT status? What would that take? You could just say it would take more time, because that's what Felix did. He was just like longevity, he was the greatest of all time in that. But like, what would it actually take for Yiheng to do that? Because he set 7 straight world record averages. Like, I don't know if you guys know that, and like, it's hard to keep up with, but 7 straight is insane. GOAT already? Yeah, dude, it's so hard to say that, because it's like, you know, you're so used to like Felix being the GOAT in 3x3. But it just happened so fast. 7 straight is just not, it's not human, dude, it's not. Did Felix even do that? I don't know. I know he had like a ton straight in like 2010 to 2017, but I don't know how many he did straight. 350 average would make him the GOAT. That's a pretty specific barrier. I'd say, I don't know if a specific number would make him the GOAT. I'd say like just how many more times he can break his own WR. Because he's already done that in like, what, 1.5 years? It's coming up on 2 years in March, where we'll be able to say for 2 years he's had the world record straight. But then it's also like the conversation of, okay, if he's had the world record for 2 years straight, but Felix had the world record for 7 years straight, you know? And that's still another thing where it's like, even if he wasn't constantly improving it, he was, but not the speed that Yiheng is. It's still like, how long can Yiheng hold on to this? Obviously it's more competitive now, but it's interesting to put all those things into the conversation. He already has a 350 average of 10,000. Yeah, just, I mean, like, I've been inside Yiheng's home and I've just stood over his shoulder and just watched him do solves. He just puts down 2s like every 5 solves. He just, you know, he counts 2s sometimes, dude. He just, I don't know, I think he was zeroing, dude. He just did, you know, 3.5 average of 10,000 isn't out of the question, you know, in terms of just what he's done at home, you know, and his sessions, which of course, guys, he only does solves. He doesn't do anything else, okay? He doesn't ever practice anything else, guys. He only does solves, as everybody will tell you that's close to him, is that he only does solves, and he's just good because he just, you know, it's just a skill issue, dude. He does solves, and he does more solves, and he does more solves, and he just drops his time by a full second, all the way from 5.5 to 4.5. I don't know. Does he actually have a 350 average of 10,000? I mean, yeah. Have you seen the video, dude? It just dropped. It was a stream. Yiheng on his new YouTube channel, he streamed 10,000 solves and he got a 350. Oh yeah, the 150 average. Yeah, I remember that too. It was pretty groundbreaking, but like, you know, the continuations and like the last layer cases he got were pretty lucky, I'd say. So it wasn't anything too crazy, you know. Hola, amigo. I dropped Spanish a couple of years ago. I didn't want to take AP Spanish, so I was like, Not making it through that course, buddy. I'm not doing that. I'm good. You can take that language with you, buddy. I'm good. Not making it anywhere past that, dude. School just makes it so, like, learning a language is so much harder than it needs to be. I'm good. I don't really feel like doing that. Oh my goodness, dude. The cubing, like, legacies debate it's such an underused thing that we've never really, like, done in the community. Like, aside from, that's why I was so happy when I saw the top 10 video you did with Noah. Dylan, that was groundbreaking. Did you forget 0.78 3x3 mana 3? No, that was in the 150 average, remember? He just sold them the last two solves and got like low threes. That was really depressing. Yeah, if you just like went back in the stream and looked at what I was breaking down and stuff like that, I'm interested in, like, you know, opinions of people who are faster than me, obviously, but a lot of that stuff was just not up to just chance. I say that with every average that Yiheng does ever, but, like, a lot of it was just not it's possible for him to be not seeing that stuff and just getting it randomly. Like solve 2, I think, pair 3, I don't know. How will Yiheng affect LeBron's legacy? We've talked about that a little bit. I think, you know, who would win a one-on-one? I'd say you have to go to the low post. I'd say, and like, who's winning in that? You know, like what kind of moves Yiheng got? What kind of bag does he have from the low post? I'm not reading that message. Oh my goodness, the world's going to somewhere it does not need to go with this terminology that we're using in chat right now. No, but I think, you know, when you consider, like, you take into consideration, like, the fall of Constantinople, and, like, then you also have to take in, like, the Mayans and, like, that civilization. I'd say, you know, if I chose the Viking civilization, I'd probably have 3 million power in Rise of Kingdoms, but besides that, you know, LeBron's legacy is really, it changes, because if I had 3 million power, you know, LeBron wouldn't be the skibidi goat anymore. So it's a great sentence. That was an amazing sentence. I should be sentenced to 8 years in prison for that. I'm sorry. But yeah, chat, it was a great day today. We talked about a lot of things. I did 0 solves. That's because you did not need to see me solve. You know, all you needed to do was just be in the stream. You know, you didn't need to see me solve this cube, because you wouldn't want to see me solve the cube. I don't know. Does Timon have does he have the long ball? Does he have a midi? You don't need a midi in today's game. Does he have like a, you know, what kind of bag is he looking at for, you know, on the perimeter? Like, if you give him an ISO situation, like, what's he doing against Yiheng, like 1v1? I don't know. I'd say probably go like tween hezzy. Probably cross from there, and then you probably get him on his feet again, and then you go to the basket. I don't know what his finishing is looking like, but yeah. Yeah, the Mayan Empire, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, it has some kind of, it plays into this for sure. Yeah, chat. Have I met Yiheng? Unfortunately, no, but I will be meeting Yiheng. That's why I wanted to learn Chinese, but unfortunately I can't do that because I'm too lazy to put aside all of my life besides just learning a language. Yeah. Eurostep, that's actually, it all makes sense, dude. It makes sense. Yeah, I heard Timon created the Eurostep, actually. And with that, yeah, of course, Scary Fox, I appreciate your reminder. It never goes unseen, you know. It never goes unappreciated that you are slower than a 6-year-old. In case you haven't gathered that information from what we've been talking about for the last hour, it's true. And I've considered, like, if I should change that saying ever and, like, change it to slower than a 7-year-old, but it just flows better to say slower than a 6-year-old. And you were slower than what a 6-year-old was at one point, which was like a 5:15 average, I think. So that's the mark to beat if you do want to be faster than a 6-year-old, officially in comp. So yeah, it was a late stream today, chat. I streamed at 6 p.m., which was interesting. So yeah. Anyway, chat, it was a fun conversation, and oh, sorry if you're getting into the chat right now. I'm sorry if that's a thing that's happening. It happens in streams sometimes. But yeah, it's always going to be slower than a 6-year-old. That's what it has to be. Yiheng's 3-ball. See, I keep getting dragged back into this conversation. I really think he has to improve his shot if he wants a chance. I don't think. Like, he's a post presence, right? He's something in the interior, like the Lakers need a center. Get out on the court, but no, like I don't think he has. He just doesn't have the range. He doesn't have the range to compete at a high level. I mean, the game's moved on, dude. Like, if you can't shoot the 3, like, it's over. You know, you got to have that in your arsenal. But yeah, chat. Hopefully nobody else asks me another question like that, because I will have to go on a tangent. But yeah, thank you all for popping out today. It was great. It was a great stream. It was another excuse to stream because Yiheng Wang did some stuff in the cubing community. So yeah, I am not reading that message. I'm sorry. You know who you are. I'm not reading that message. And he does not have that energy. I don't know what kind of energy that is, but Yiheng be the next Shaq. He already is Shaq, dude. He has the Shaq archetype. He just doesn't. He doesn't have the long ball, dude. I'm sorry. And with that, I'm just ending, dude. I just read that. I'm ending the stream, dude. It's over. I can't do it anymore. I won't miss the stop stream button. Been fueled by the motivation of reading that chat message. But yeah.